Hello ladies and gentlemen, Xentori here, and welcome back to another video. Now, I think it's that time of year, or, well, let's say pre-update time, and I think it's time to do an Infinite Flight review and really discuss whether this mobile flight simulator is worth them $10 a month or $60 a year. Depending on which subscription you have. So I think it's time to discuss it. And you know, we're going to start off with the McDonnell Douglas aircraft because I'd like to talk about them very briefly. Seeing as I think they sort of just go under the radar a little bit, and you know, no one really talks about them. So let's start off with them, because I just think it's a good starting point. Now, if you are new here as well, and this is your first video on the channel, just please enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe as well, because it does mean quite a lot to me, all of the support everyone provides. So, Infinite Flight. So we're just going to break it down to its basics today in this video, following the recent 22.6 update where we did get the amazing F18 rework, which of course I'll talk on a little bit later. But first of all, we're looking at one of the aircraft from about, I'm thinking, 2019, 2018 when this came out. It might have even been 2017. So this is like the start of the more modern aircraft in Infinite Flight. And this is like a mediocre, so this is like a cockpit of Infinite Flight. So it's like a middle class cockpit, is the way I'd rank it. I'd say this cockpit's much better, but much worse than this in Infinite Flight. So this is like middle ground for class of cockpits, which is why I chose this aircraft, because it's right slap bang in middle of the best and the worst aircraft in aviation in Infinite Flight, or commercial aviation, sorry. So, I mean, we've got a pilot missing their head. Is that meant? I didn't know about that. We're just gonna pay attention to this pilot then. I wasn't aware that pilots now miss their head in Infinite Flight. I missed that in the update apparently. Okay, so we're in the DC-10. So the aircraft itself, it looks slick, it's cool. Unfortunately, there's no interior, but the aircraft as a whole, you know, it's good. It's a good aircraft. It's got the middle class cockpit, like I said. It's got engines again, which I think are medium quality and pretty good. So I think all in all, it's a very good aircraft. You know, it's got moving cargo doors. I don't know if it's got opening passenger doors yet. I'll find out the cargo one first. But you know, as an aircraft as a whole, it's decent. And this is the kind of stuff people want to pay for in Infinite Flight when, you know, we review it. You know, you want an aircraft that's decent quality, and you want to play a game, or a mobile flight simulator, as some of you call it, that you find fun but also good. And I think this is a perfect example of the middle quality of the aircraft you get in Infinite Flight. Now, I know people would want you to show off the best, but sometimes you've got to be realistic, especially when you're doing reviews and seeing whether it's worth it. And this is the middle ground. So we will now have a look at the top and the bad. So let's have a look at the best first. And do you know what? We're going to look at the fighter jet, the Boeing F18, before we look at anything else. I think we'll go in the cool generic aggressor livery, because I think it's popular, just so you guys can get an idea of what the most newly reworked aircraft gets. So I did also do a video a couple of days ago of before versus after this aircraft, so if you are genuinely reviewing Infinite Flight, you can see how much it's changed. But we'll just look at some small details so you can see how far they actually go with their rework. So looking up here, you can see all of the fine small details of these stuff here. So you got like the little wires, and like they're just all there. We'll ignore the stickers. And then the cockpit. Now the cockpit is something which I think is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna turn them on. Completely gone to the wrong bit, and we'll just start up the cockpit so you can see that we do get live cockpits. Now, what I mean by live cockpit, in the previous aircraft I showed you in that DC-10, so we do got that moving little joystick as well. In the DC-10, what we had was, like, we had stickers. We didn't actually have a live cockpit, so, you know, I'll just go short final. So look here. So you can see that with this aircraft, I'm just trying to sort some stuff out. So you can see that, like, this actually moves with the aircraft. It shows the actual speed and all that. I don't know what they do, but these actual move with the aircraft, and you have that in a few of the commercial aircraft here. I think this aircraft in itself is one of the best aircraft now in Infinite Flight. Obviously being literally released this week, but it's by far one of the best aircraft in infinite flight, until you crash it like that. Yeah, we're going to completely ignore that happened. But you can just see from the exterior of the aircraft and the way it moves, it's much nicer than some of the other aircraft, especially the aircraft I showed you guys just a little while ago. And like the gear transitions as well look really good. And you can just look on them and see the detail of the aircraft. Now, of course, in an infinite flight review, we definitely didn't crash. There's a lot more you want to look at. And some of this stuff might be air traffic control or, you know, just flying online. Now, if you want to be an air traffic controller on training server, you can do that. You can also become one on expert server, but you have to go through this thing called IFATC, which is part of the community, which in infinite flight is probably one of its strongest points. The fact that you can have a community, and the community is very well engaging. So that is, again, a big pro and a big plus for infinite flight, because you think about it, you're not just playing by yourself, because you can join Discord servers, and there are so many communities here within the infinite flight world, which just make it amazing. So I'm going to show off the A220 because I think it's one of the better aircraft in infinite flight as well, and we're going to go in the little Swiss livery because I like it, and we're going to go on training server from Gatwick, just because, you know, I think it's one of the best places. Okay, so we're now currently online now, and as you can see, that is active. So I've gone onto one of the online servers. There's 3 servers: casual, training, and expert, and they all differ in quality of pilots. Now, what I'm going to try and show you is that here, for example, we got the A380 here. Now, this isn't AI. This is an actual player, you know, playing infinite flight. Now, he's quite a way off centerline, and I think he's just landed. But you can actually like fly with friends and family and whoever you want. There's also with training server, you kind of lack realism every now and again, because we've had another landing here. Now, it is also worth noting I've only got medium graphics on, but again, I'm going to show off one of the better aircraft here. So we're currently dark and cold right now. It's not hard to get the plane going. You literally just press a few buttons and kaboom, you're there. But you know, it's definitely worth noting the little iPhone there. I like that with the Infinite Flight app. I think that's cool. We're very laggy. You're not always that laggy. We're only laggy right now because we're at London Heathrow, which happens to be one of the more popular airports in Infinite Flight. Well, globally, and you know, you can see here that the actual passenger gates, you know, attached to your aircraft and everything. We're just going to stay in the aircraft, and there we go. So we've got the live aircraft like I've shown you. And you can now talk with ATC as well. So like, for example, here I can request pushback. It sends it off to ATC. Now you can't actually hear it talking with ATC. Maybe I'll turn that on for you all so you can just hear it. And hopefully ATC, there we go. So they've approved our pushback.
November 444 Echo Uniform. Pushback approved. Expect runway 27 right.
Right, there you go. So
pushback approved. November 444 Echo Uniform.
So that was ATC there, just clearing me a pushback. So I'll just attach the target and push right now quickly. Okay, got to wait for ground services to disconnect. But as you can see, you know, you can talk to ATC. There's little Wizz Air. No, is that Wizz? Yeah, that is Wizz Air over there. There's a Qantas A380, and you can also see where other aircraft are. Oh, that Qantas 787. Sorry, but we can also see where it's come from if we just load their flight. So this person might have actually come from. This person looks like they've actually come from Australia. This person has come from Darwin, I think that is. So look, for example, there you go. So if that's you as well, and you're watching this video, fair play to you, shout out. So yeah, so that person's just flown in from Darwin, and you can see how busy it is with live traffic. And I think that's one of the things that makes Infinite Flight truly great. Just the fact that you can fly online. And like, if you couldn't fly online, Infinite Flight would not really be worth it. I feel like the money, it's a lot of money, and don't get me wrong, it is, honestly, I think it is a little bit too much. Unfortunately, the $10, I'd happily pay like $7.99, you know, just $2 less, but that's unfortunately the way it is. Now, as you can see, there are a wide variety of aircraft you can choose, so many different aircraft, so many different liveries to choose from as well. For example, on the A330s, some aircraft don't have many liveries, like this A330, but you know, others have loads. So, you know, it is hard to tell what you can do, but all in all, when you weigh up the pros and the cons, some of the cons are that some of the servers aren't that good, people are very unrealistic, some people in the community can be toxic, but generally that gets nullified and put down immediately by the moderators, which some people think have too much power. So there is quite a lot of politics, I think, within the community sometimes, which I find a bit of a downfall, because personally I just like to play the flight simulator, just get on with life and enjoy it. But some people get very caught up into it and the politics gets very strong, and I think people would agree. I think quite a lot of people would agree with that. But all in all, I do hate to say this, but if you're playing this game most days and you're really engaged with the community, it's worth those $10. But if you're someone who just wants to play and fly solo, get X-Plane Mobile or RFS or something with that's a little bit cheaper, and maybe not as good, because that might be better suited for you financially as well, and it might just be a better option, and that's the honest opinion. But other than that, if you did find this video helpful, please let me know, and I'll do reviews after most updates and it will help you all out. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Good night.
Find your way.